is a group of souls with whom you share a deep spiritual connection and who help you grow and learn on your life's journey. When you recognize your soul family, you have an immediate sense of connection or familiarity and acknowledging the sense of purpose and growth they give you. How many of you feel a pull to others' energies? Do you feel you have known them before? Do you feel connected to each other? Have you felt like you are one with someone? The reason you feel this is because you have. Your soul recognizes their salient energy signal. Every soul has its own unique blueprint and vibration. This energy is a recall for each other, and you sense a connection that is eternal. If you feel a strong pull to someone, it's likely you are from the same soul group. When a soul recognizes your energy, you can be sure your soul group perceives you from a deeper level. We are all connected. Souls come together to work with each other and have done this dance before. You are building up trust with them and feel most comfortable in working together. You have cultivated this trust over lifetimes, working diligently together. You may have been born into a family that is very tight-knit, and you feel great strength and love for each other. You may meet someone who feels familiar, and you're not sure why you are drawn to them. This is the universe's way of guiding you and directing you into these relationships and experiences. Even negative experiences are necessary for your soul's growth and expansion. This is also referred to as a pre-birth planning, and pre-birth planning involves extensive research. There are a great many elements to factor in, beginning with what you desire to accomplish. You create a list of preferred souls that you'd like to interact with during this lifetime. And when your team goes about researching their availability, that's when the creative juices flow. All right. Welcome to Andromeda 7, your celestial gateway, your channel for community support, friendship, love, knowledge, and being of value to others. You know what? Tonight, it's Friday night. It's time to feed your mind and grow your heart. I'm going to optimize that intro. It gets a little long, and I just want to switch things up. So, you know what time it is. It's Friday night. It's time to feed your mind and grow your heart. And tonight, Teresa's going to acknowledge everyone in chat, and I will go over some info after that. Cool. Hey, there we go. Boom. Just like that.
Alrighty then.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We had a few people trickle in here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Chloe, it's always good to see you, sister. I don't know if you're working or not, or if you're going to be in and out, but it's always a pleasure to see you on Friday night. Scotty boy, you keep the laughter rolling in the chat room. We appreciate that.
Buddy.
Good to see you, Scotty. And you can't not win when Mary Wins is around. So it's good to see you, sister. You bring a lot of sweetness and sincerity to the chat. We really appreciate that. And beloved abstract, sip, sip, sip. I don't know what you're sipping all the time, but I think I want some.
A little sip of the divine, I hope.
Or maybe not. Yeah, maybe it's a sip of the divine. That's right. Let's see who else we got here. We have Truth Seeker. Always a pleasure to have you with us,
Joy.
Truth Seeker. Yeah, cheers us up to see you in there. It looks like a fork that she's got next to her.
Trident.
It's a trident.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
That's powerful.
Team Neptune.
Very powerful. Yeah. And Mark the Arc Spark. I still
buddy.
want to call you Sparky, but I know that's like stepping on the boundary. Whenever I see Mark the Arc Spark, I just want to say, "Hey, Sparky!"
Or Sparkles.
Sparkles. Yep.
Let's go with Sparky.
You call your angel Sparkles. All right, let's see. So I think I caught everyone. If I missed anyone, please forgive me, but I'm just scrolling through, and I think that's it for now. And others will probably trickle in a little later.
Yeah.
But happy Friday, everyone. It's good to see you, and welcome all of our silent viewers who aren't in chat. We appreciate you being here as well.
Yes, definitely. Want to welcome Sophia and Hope and Dalibor and Grandpa Brian and Sweet Teresa. Thank you all for being here tonight. Um, you guys ever wonder why bad things happen to good people? And we all love to think that if we just think positive enough and emit good vibes, that nothing bad or unexpected will ever happen to us. And unfortunately, that's just not true. We're not here on this human planet, Earth, just to experience joy all the time. In fact, that was our state before we incarnated here. And part of the experience of being human really is experiencing fear, lack, and disappointment, etc. So you know the entire emotional range of being human. Don't you all know that? So, no, it's not always fair, but it was never meant to be. And the bigger truth of the matter is that some of the hardships we encounter here on earth have nothing to do with our manifestations or deservingness. Instead, they were written into the script of our lives. And it helps to think of this human life as a huge, incredibly realistic video game of sorts. But while we're born as a supposed blank slate, the truth is we're here on a mission. And we're here to experience different levels of hardship and lack. We're here to enact and sometimes reenact certain scenarios meant to expand our spiritual growth. You're always retain control over your life's choices and have free will, but we simply don't control everything. And I wanted to kind of make that blank statement just to let people know that there's a whole lot more going on and that it's not always just one way of thinking. So the first question to the panel tonight is, do any on the panel feel connected to each other? And I'm wondering, Dalibor, do you feel connected?
Sure. Yeah.
In
I feel
what
connected.
way?
I feel
Mhm.
connected to everybody on the panel because in my country we have a saying, and it's exactly the same as in your country. Birds of a feather flock together, except we say it a
Together.
slightly different way.
I like
Um, basically, we say a crow will always land next to a crow, just like a human will always seek out his equal.
that. Yeah.
I know
Oh,
it's a
Yeah.
that's
bit
cool.
Like attracts like. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
attracts like, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here among equals. I feel
Mm-hmm.
equal to
Peers.
everybody else. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
peers in this path of spiritual development. And I'd say it was a very fortuitous situation where we were able to meet up through Wayne Steiger
Mm-hmm.
and interacting first via chats, emails, and stuff like that, and then later going on to doing this show.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it was a confluence of positive luck, I would say. And nothing happens by accident, so we know
Mm-hmm.
that it was in a sense divinely ordained. And
Divinely, or yeah.
Mm-hmm.
even today's date is divinely ordained because today is the 17th of November, and it's exactly 34 years since 17th of November 1989, which is when my country, Czech Republic, sloughed off the shackles of communism forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
So
it's a national
Awesome.
holiday. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a national
It's a
holiday.
Yay.
national
So
thinking holiday.
yeah,
I
long
love it.
overdue because we were under communism since what 1948 to
Yeah.
1989, so like for like 41 years. And that goes to show you, why am I mentioning this? It goes to show you that no bad situation ever lasts forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that it wouldn't last forever.
Mm-hmm.
All good things come to an end, but so do all
Mm-hmm.
bad things. But
Yeah.
most of the time, those bad things are only temporary setbacks
Mm-hmm.
because humanity, as it is, in sum total, is moving forward. We're moving from a place of lack to a place of abundance.
Mm-hmm.
Always. I mean, not only our technology is increasing, but also our lifespans, our quality of life,
Mm-hmm.
our creature comforts, everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather be alive today, despite all the stuff that's going on, than even 10 years ago or even 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you
Because,
chose to come in at this time?
sure, sure,
Yeah.
definitely. Because,
Mm-hmm.
like I just said, I'd rather be alive today
Mm-hmm.
than be alive, I don't know, during the Middle Ages, forget it. During the Renaissance, forget it.
Mhm.
1800s?
Kind of feel like we've
No.
been there, done that, like we already did
Yeah.
that. Now we're
Yeah,
doing things
exactly.
differently. Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to visit the 1800s, maybe for
Mhm.
15 minutes, to check
Mhm.
out certain aspects of certain historical events or whatever. Maybe, I don't know, grab a couple of interesting collectibles along the way
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
for
be cool.
resale.
Uh-huh.
But that's about it. I wouldn't want to live in the 1800s. Forget it. They didn't even have dental anesthetic
Yeah,
back
that's
No.
then.
big.
And that's a biggie.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
just slugged down some
Yeah.
alcohol and went, yank that sucker
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So,
Like they did
no,
in the 1800s. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
Doc
mean,
Holliday.
I was born in the '60s, and
Mhm.
even back then, life wasn't all peachy. You didn't have the internet. All you had
Mhm.
was TV, magazines, newspapers, and that was pretty
Mhm.
much it.
And a
Yeah.
telephone in the kitchen
Yeah.
with a really long cord.
Yeah, with a really long
Yep.
cord.
And there was no call waiting. You had to wait till
Yes.
everybody was done talking. Gee,
Uh-huh.
I tried to call you 20 times, but it was busy. Yeah.
And my first
Things have
computer,
changed.
my
Mhm.
first computer was a 286 with no hard drive, where
Mhm.
you had to load the operating system from two floppy disks, 5 1/4 inch floppy disks.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
basically, personal computing back then sucked.
Yeah.
Telecommunications, we had a telex machine in the kitchen,
Mhm.
and I found out how to use it. It was an ASR 33, and it was just when you compare even technology back then, like 20, 30 years ago, it was like bullshit compared to today.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
why would somebody want to be incarnated at that time versus today?
Mhm. Well, Dalibor, when you think about it, being born when we were, we actually followed technology and learned
Yes,
every incrementally, step by step, on how
yeah,
to use it. And that
exactly.
that was really cool because look at where it brought us today. I mean, here we are on this
Yeah.
platform using
Mhm.
all of those skills and things that we have learned in the past. So pretty
and we
cool.
were and our generation was part of that development of that technology,
Exactly.
and
Yep.
just like I was part of the development of my country's history and
Hmm.
its journey from totalitarian communism
Hmm.
into free market capitalism, or a
There you
semblance
go.
of it that we have today, because by
Hmm.
moving there in 1991, I helped accelerate that, and by using my experiences from the United States,
Hmm.
working in banking and everything like that, I helped accelerate that process and be a part of it.
Yeah.
So that's a privileged position
That's
in and of
awesome.
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. How about you, Brian? Do you feel connected to others on the panel here tonight?
Oh, yes, I do. Like Teresa, when I got to meet Teresa and actually our energies got to interact.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I could definitely tell my energy knew her energy and her energy
Mm-hmm.
knew my energy.
Mhm.
Me and Sophia, I had a reading from Sophia and we're a lot alike.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've never asked if we've had a past life together or other incarnations, but there is that connection that we had. And like she said in that reading, she's like, well, you're kind of a lot like me. And I think that's
Mhm.
because we think alike. We've probably
Mm-hmm.
been through a few of the same situations.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we think alike. I know when I got to meet Mary and Trina and got
Mm-hmm.
to feel their energies, I know my energy
Yep.
recognized their energies. And it's
Yep.
not only people like Trina and my puppy Luna.
Yeah. Yeah.
Luna knew Trina's energy like that. I mean, she was on
Mm-hmm.
Trina like stink on shit. I mean, would not get
Mm-hmm.
off Trina's lap, would not leave her alone. And I know there's other animals that I've come across. I don't know what it is. They just come right to me. It's like we know each other's energy and just
Mm-hmm.
interact. So it's not only humans that we have these connections with, it's also animals too. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
I believe that your animals come to you out of a soul agreement as well, and that's why you have a recognition of them. Um, and no matter how they come to you, they're meant to be with you. So Teresa, you had a little stray kitty that was coming around, but that was meant to be. And of course the dog that you have now, Ruby, and that was a gift. No matter how they come to you, they're meant to be in your lives. Yeah.
Mhm.
And,
Interesting.
and I've
I
also,
believe that.
yeah,
Hmm.
I've also been around trees and felt their energy, and it's like, man, I know this energy from somewhere. And you just want to sit up and lean up against that tree because your energies are just like mixing together and melting and
I'm a tree hugger
becoming
all
one.
day long. I will just go up to
Yeah,
a tree and hug a tree. I go to my sister's and I've got a favorite tree I like to go hug, and everybody's looking at me and my sister's like, "I just think that's really cool."
it's because you know the energy of that tree. I
Yes.
mean, it's just not just humans that
Yes.
we have these
Right.
energy connections with.
Mhm.
It's all life on Mother Earth.
Yeah, it's like the
Right.
tree and the mycelium, they're all connected underground, but spiritually, we're all connected. We're all part of the whole anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Correct.
it's fascinating to think that way or to know that that's how it works. Um, how about you, Sophia? Do you feel connected to others on the panel here as well?
Absolutely. It's a
Hmm.
pleasure to be part of this group. I have a quick story. I was called out by my spirits, my guides. I would say the fall of 2018 to do a YouTube show, and I'm not as technically savvy as you are, beautiful Laurie. So I use that for an
Practice,
excuse for a
practice.
right, but I use that as an excuse, and
Hmm.
they kept going. And then when Brian approached me at all my relations during the healing circle, I'm like, So it's like you could almost hear your guides going, okay, we know what she's capable, but watch
Hmm.
this. Because
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
I feel that the community and the connectivity with all of you,
Hmm.
it's sacred. We edify each other and encourage each other and
Hmm.
love each other for who we are, not what culture might dictate we should be. Like we
Hmm.
said before,
Right.
thou shalt not
It's just a
should
knowing, huh?
thyself.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but I am definitely connected to the people on the panel
Hmm.
and in chat,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
it's
Even
such
the
a
people in chat.
privilege.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
to
is.
be in service and
Hmm.
know that my most valuable asset, my time, can be used in such a beautiful way.
Hmm.
So it's the connectivity is. I'm still kind of in disbelief sometimes. You look back, like 8.5 years ago at who you used to be, and you look at your
Hmm.
life now, and it's just like,
Yeah.
wow,
Mhm.
wow.
Reaching
Different.
your full potential, that's what's really incredible, and then having the love and support of everyone around you to
Yeah.
help you not only with your guides or the angelic realm or whoever you're connecting to or
Right.
your besties or your friendships, things like that really help bring that out in you, and that's what's really cool about all that. Go ahead.
We believe in each other.
Yes.
We support
Yep.
each other. We
Love and
love
support.
each other.
Mhm.
And that's not as common in this culture as I would hope it to be. And we're helping each other unfold and evolve. And I know I probably burn those words up, but if I come up with a better one, I'll use them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
we're raising the frequency of Earth one show at a
Mhm.
time,
Yeah.
you know, and it's fabulous and it's a privilege, and
Mhm.
I'm very blessed.
Yeah,
Very blessed.
definitely. I know I have past lives with you, Sophia. I've known about that for a long time. You knew that already. Grandpa Brian, I do have past lives with you as well. Delaware, I have past lives with you. And Hope, I do have past lives with you as well, I believe. So that recognition, the soul recognizing each other, that's what's really
Mm-hmm.
going on here. And so what we're doing is kind of leading the example here to show others how this really works. How about you, Hope? You feel that connection as well to each other?
I do, and I feel like being on this group was so divinely guided, and
Absolutely.
it just went so easy. And the minute I met you, Lori, and then Teresa, and then everything just kind of fell into place with the channeling and all that. When
Hmm.
I first met Sophia, I felt like I had known her for many lifetimes, and I felt a connection with her.
Hmm.
When I met Grandpa Brian, it was a
Hmm.
little bit different, though. I felt the healing connection, that we had been healers together in a past life, because when I tried to remember what he looked like from the show and what his name was and everything before I actually got on the show, I recognized his healing energy before I recognized his face. So I feel like we have had past lives together as healers. And
So
then
you picked up on his frequency.
Yes.
Okay.
And I have felt like there has been a connection with everyone on the panel. And although I've never, I didn't meet Delabar for in person or anything, when we first got on the panel together, it just feels like I know him too, like I've always known him and I've never met him before. So yes, I feel a deep connection to everybody. I feel like what's happening now is I'm finding those soul connections easier and quicker, and they are mostly spiritual connections. I have soul connections with my family as well, but it's not as easy as these spiritual connections.
Right.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of connection to my family. I know that I've reincarnated in the last 2 generations and into the same family. So I very much understand that I carry in my blood and in my DNA, I carry those traits through the bloodline. So I'm very connected to even my immediate family, like my mom, my dad, my sister. I remember being a teenager and asking my dad, "Do you feel like we've done this before?" And he was like, "What are you talking about? I mean, I feel like I've been this run with you before. I can't tell you how I know that or why, but I just have this feeling about it." And he just kind of looked at me and was kind of puzzled by it. But I felt it. I've known it. I know my past history with them. So I know what I'm working on this lifetime. So it's really kind of interesting. How about you, Teresa? I know you feel connected to others on the panel. Would you like to talk
Always
about
have.
that?
Well,
That
I'd
soul
like to.
recognition thing.
Absolutely. And
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, there's a difference between just vibing with people you think are really cool, or you meet somebody on the street and you think, hey, I really like that person's personality, or it goes deeper than that. With this
Mm-hmm.
kind of connection, you feel something even stronger and deeper on a much deeper level. Because there's all kinds of people. I enjoy people. So
Mm-hmm.
very
Yep.
sociable. I go to events,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't always feel that click. It's usually when you're attracted to someone physically, or that kind of thing. But there's a click, like you instantly know.
Mm-hmm.
You just instantly know, hey, that's a brother. That's a sister. That was a mother. You can almost identify the energy associated with it. So it feels like family.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like you've had some kind of deep relationship with that person. You may have never even seen them before in your life, but within a matter of minutes, it's almost like you know who they are.
Yeah. A soul
You know who they
recognition, I'd
are.
like to say.
So
Yeah.
yeah, soul recognition. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's much deeper. And of course it happens easier on a virtual system like this, where we can actually interact and talk when we
Mm-hmm.
do chats, because it makes it easier. But
Yeah.
I've actually connected with people in chat rooms too, without
Mm-hmm.
ever having seen them or
Yeah.
a picture of them. It's
Mm-hmm.
because you recognize the energy of that person and
Yep.
something, the way they say things or how they talk about things. And Beloved Abstract just pointed out something. BA said, I don't know, I don't have a thing in common with most of what you all believe. But
He says,
he's
"Yeah, I
here
don't
anyway.
really fit in with you guys as far as
Yeah.
beliefs go and stuff." And that's
And
okay.
That's okay.
this time
Yeah.
around, maybe in this now, you don't.
Yeah.
And it's not important. That's not what's important. It's not important whether you're in sync with what we believe
Right.
or think, but how do we make you feel?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel loved in here? Do you feel supported in here? Do you feel
Yeah.
appreciated? Do you feel
Mm-hmm.
respected? Do you
Yeah.
feel like family, BA, where you could just sit back and say whatever the heck you want to? Sip, sip.
And
Of
not be
course you do,
judged.
because you're part of the
Yep.
family. Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
you're part of the
Yeah.
family. So
Yeah.
that's how so I do connect with a lot of people in a lot of different chat rooms, not just this one, in a lot of different communities and different organizations. You just have that knowing,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know, and then you might start getting the visions. Usually, after I've interacted with a person a few times, I'll get
You
messages
do get a
coming
lot
in,
of visions.
or
Yep.
I'll get it. They'll show up in a
Mhm.
dream, or I'll get a vision where I have a recall of a scene. But I don't
Mhm.
always go to them and say, "Guess what? I had a past life with you in Atlantis." You know, I don't do that to people, so I don't want to turn them
Yeah.
off.
Don't want to freak them out.
Hey, babe, I knew
Although you
you.
did.
We were doing this, and I mean, come on.
Really?
You don't go up.
Oh my God! I can't believe you just did that.
26
go up to
minutes in.
people.
Here we go.
We had
Somebody's got to
6
do it.
babies. We had 6
Uh,
babies. I mean, come on. You don't go up to people and do that. It just becomes an automatic. As you start getting to know them, you start sharing bits and pieces. I mean, yeah.
Whew, it just got hot in here.
Where I had your baby. I mean, come on. Do you approach
Right.
people like
I mean,
that? No, you
you could
don't.
say
You
that,
don't.
but I mean, definitely, are you feeling that connection, that frequency, that like-mindedness? Because we're all connected when we're not here anyway, and it's all love and
Yeah.
light and bliss and wonderful.
Or
and then we come
hey,
here.
it's sometimes it's not necessarily a good connection. By the way,
Yeah, that's what I'm
sometimes I have met people, and I know that person. There's something, you know.
Mhm.
Oh, you're my baby daddy. You're the one that left me. You bring
I've had that too.
the karma,
Yeah,
The
a
karma.
whole
It's
different
like a
deal.
different
Yeah,
lifetime,
yeah.
So can you imagine the look on someone's face if you approached them and said, "You son of a no good frickin' wrecker, you killed me and slit my throat back in Greece."
Hmm.
No, you don't do that with people.
But sometimes the
you,
ones that are your worst enemies are your best friends outside of here.
yes, because they're the
Yep.
ones that you trusted to put you through that to learn the
Yeah,
lesson, and now in
yeah.
this lifetime it can be different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or a spirit has followed you into this lifetime on purpose to make a
Yeah.
connection.
There's so many things going on, so many scenarios, but I think the bottom line is just being open to these new concepts and
Yeah.
ideas. And Dolores Cannon talked a lot about it in her lectures as well. She did thousands of regression with people and hypnosis. In fact, her husband, she learned how to hypnotize through her husband. And
Ah,
she did thousands of them, and so she's really kind of got a good connection on that. If anybody's interested in her work, she's got 17 or 18 books out there now, and it's very fascinating. So for me, I'm like a sponge. I soak all this stuff up. I've constantly got an ear listening to things and understanding what's going on and trying to get a vibe on why are we here, what's this all about, what's the purpose of life. And really what I've come to understand after all this research and learning and looking and trying to figure it all out is whatever's going on in your now is really what's important. I don't know what that echo is coming
yeah.
from.
I just put myself on mute. It's not me.
Let me see. How about that? I have a feeling it's hope. That stopped.
Ah,
So
probably
anyway, yeah, it's
rubbing up
okay.
against something. Yeah.
So basically, the most important thing that you can think about now is what's happening in your life at the moment. So that's the way to do it.
We have a question here, Laurie.
All right, go ahead.
How does knowing past lives help you to keep attention on source?
Um, I'm not quite sure I understand your That could be interpreted a couple different ways. Knowing your past lives really helps you understand. Hope, I'm going to mute you because I'm getting feedback from you. So I'm going to mute you just for a moment here. Let's put that question back up there. How does knowing past lives help you to keep attention on the source? Knowing your past lives helps you by understanding your karma. Some of the lessons and things that you may not have learned in the previous lifetimes, if you don't get those lessons in those lifetimes, you will repeat them in the next lifetime or even the following or whatever comes next. So that's
That's the
part
thing.
of, yeah.
That's the
Go
thing.
ahead,
There's
Joe.
usually like an overarching theme to your
Mm-hmm.
life.
Yep.
And it translates across many different lifetimes, not just this one life, where a lot of people tend to make the same mistake over and over again, like either
Mm-hmm.
codependency
Right.
or
You
bad
want to clean that
choices.
karma up. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you
Hmm.
don't want to repeat those same mistakes. So that's why it's important to know about your past lives. It may not serve you in any way. Maybe you're just here to be in the now and do whatever it is you're doing and have a sip and enjoy other people's company. That's great too. Nothing wrong with that. But when you're here to be an individual and you want to learn more about yourself. And the best way to do that is to have an understanding of the past so that you can work on the future.
Right.
So that's all I'm
Yep.
saying with that. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
We got Pa Joe joined us, and so has Max Vision Remote Viewing. Good to see you
Oh,
both tonight.
great. Yeah. Good to have you
Hey.
guys with us.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
You know that there's something else not everybody that I connect with
Mm-hmm.
is actually from my soul family DNA line. That's another whole, we're talking about recognizing people we've known in various different ways, but there's also this familial
Mm-hmm.
DNA where you keep reincarnating. You've done it right,
Yeah.
in different generations within your own family line, going way back in history, and other traditions see that too, as we basically reincarnate with the same people over and over and over. And Laurie's going to get to that a little bit later in this, because that's the mind blowing part of this. It gets really
I
tricky.
think I think one of the symptoms of absolutely knowing that you have a connection like that with somebody is something quite rare, and that's having similar background information, having same scar on the same hand and the same shape and the same length, things like
Mm-hmm.
that, or
Mm-hmm.
even mm, or even of
Birthmarks.
really birthmarks, or
Birthmarks are a
exactly,
big one. Yeah,
because
that can be a
birthmarks
past life
usually.
trauma. Mm-hmm. And it
Exactly. That can
carries through.
usually indicates like where
Mm-hmm.
the fatal blow was
Yep.
inflicted in the previous life. That's a
Yep.
common superstition. But
Yep.
one thing that I've had with a soul tribe member, which would be having the same exact dream as they,
Yeah.
and that was the dream I had about 3 years ago with, or 2 years ago with Mandy. And
Uh-huh. Right. Yep.
she and my other girlfriend were the only two people on earth I've ever shared the same exact dream with, which is
Mm-hmm.
something that you never hear about people experiencing. And that goes to show you that there's a deep spiritual connection, which
Mm-hmm.
is why I'm even connected with her on a deep level in this lifetime, ever since I got to know her through the gateway.
Yeah. Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Beloved Abstract, what is the purpose of having a future? I think it's to expand. The purpose of living a life is to expand your soul, and you can't do it in just the etheric realms. You have to come to the earth school. You got to have your hard knocks. You got to go through grades 1 to 12 before you can graduate. And if you don't get it this lifetime, you'll do it in the next, or whatever comes after that. But the purpose of living this life is to expand your soul.
I would put it this way. It's
Hmm.
like, let's say you were an architect and you were just designing houses on paper, constantly like cranking out drawing after drawing after drawing.
Hmm.
Well, every once in a while, you have to actually build one of these things and make sure that it's viable, make sure that it works the way that you planned it out. So that would
Good
be the
point.
analogy for use in this life, where this is like the testing ground, the proving ground for ideas and concepts that you yourself came up with in the astral plane or fourth dimension, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sophia, I was curious, the Nordics, because I know that you bring that balance of a completely different way of looking at things. And what is their belief on soul frequencies and families? And I know it's not just the physical realm; also the angelic realm does it as well. They travel in groups together, like-minded beings working together.
Well, a lot of what I've studied,
Mm-hmm.
they really don't speak to past lives much because at that time they were about survival and making sure that the tribe stayed healthy. So if they did talk about past lives, I haven't found it yet, which I
Mm-hmm.
hope if it's there, I am able to discover it and see what their thinking is on that. But it's basically responsibility of self is
Yeah.
one of the central focus, being an asset to the tribe, not just to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So
To
it was
serve
more of
others.
it was a survivalist
Mm-hmm.
mentality,
Tribe
and
vibe mind, hive mind.
right. And
Yeah.
I don't think they really had the luxury that we do now because of the technology and the creature comforts that we enjoy. But if I do find something on it, I'll bring it forward. But so far, I haven't found anything that could
Yeah.
speak to the topic,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I
Interesting.
Yeah,
agree. I agree.
Well, that here,
Scandinavia is an insanely
yeah,
difficult part of the world to actually live in, which goes to show you that your ancestors, or the ancestors of all the Scandinavians, they must have escaped up there from something, because the presumption is that humanity originated in a place where it's easier to live, namely Africa, where you don't have to have wood stored for the winter, where it's not that difficult to come by food,
They
things
don't
like
even
that.
wear shoes. You don't even need a
Yeah,
pair of shoes. Yeah.
they don't even need shoes. Yeah. Hmm.
there's
Hmm.
just not a whole lot of documentation on those traditions because they sang everything or spoke everything or told stories, and
that's right.
the stories are mixed, and so there's different mixed but you could get little hints here and there apparently of some of their things. I had a book, I was reading a little bit about it, but it's really hard to nail down in that tradition, right, Sophia? So
Well, it's a
they
fractured tradition.
yeah.
Not only like you said, it was primarily an oral tradition and
Hmm.
passed down to people that had money and the luxury to study
Yeah.
and experience things like that
Yeah.
instead of just providing for their families and making sure they had enough to survive. But it's I don't know. I lost my train of
I
thought.
thought it was
Sorry, good.
interesting that BA is bringing up the fact that soul and ego are one and the same, and it
Mm-hmm.
reminds me of the book that I was reading when I was doing the research on the
Mm-hmm.
runes, and some of their traditions not being documented, and there were, and I said to you before the show, Sophia, that some of the stories suggest that there was a potential belief in the reincarnation cycle, and that they could pick up bits and pieces. Like the viewpoint was that the soul is actually in four different aspects,
Well, almost every
and one of those is a
primary,
lot of ego.
almost every primary civilization on Earth has a belief in reincarnation, uh, at least to the extent that they believe in ghosts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing about it is a lot of what was preserved from what I live and study was documented by Christian monks that were honoring, the old gods. So, and a lot of Christianity doesn't really support reincarnation, at least not my experience with the Lutheran Church as a child.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of things that are missing. Then that's why the meditation and the journaling is so important, and the communion with the gods is important, because then information like that can step forward in that regard, where the written word and the records fail us, because they tried to stamp it out completely to
Mhm.
control.
Hmm.
And it's a blessing and a miracle that we have what we have today.
Mm-hmm.
So
Gotcha. I want to ask Hope, do you believe in that pre-birth planning, Hope?
Yes. Has the echo gone away yet? Are we
Sounds
good
better.
on the echo?
Sounds better.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, there it is
Yeah,
again.
I think
Let me.
I sorry. I think everything was planned before we got here. And once you learn some of the past lives, they kind of connect and show you kind of that plan of what you decided and what was decided with your guides before you came here. I do believe in that, yes.
Yeah. So here you are up there, and you've got all these ideas about what you want to tackle and accomplish, and of course, you're not in the thick of it. It's kind of like a chemist who creates chemistry, but you don't know exactly how it's going to react until you're down here physically, putting the chemicals together. It's kind of how I feel about, your pre-birth planning. So some of us souls take on a lot, and we come down here, and then we just can't believe how much crap we're dealing with, and trauma and drama and all of that. But it really is just learning how to work through all of that. And how to be an individual. And mostly, I think the biggest thing I've learned in the last 4 years is truly how to love yourself, how to have great love and
Yes.
respect for yourself, and how to be honest with not only yourself, but other people. And just that's really important. And that's a hard one to learn. And then, of course, when we walk out of the body, when it's time to leave here, then we go back, and it's all, wow, that was a trip. We did that. That was fun. Let's do it again, or let's not, or let's go somewhere else. It really is a trip. Uh, uh, and it's just trying to make your life better on a day-to-day basis, and making things better for yourself is being good to yourself and being fair and honest with yourself and with others. And that's really one of the biggest lessons I think people have to learn. Hope, I was wondering if possibly Archangel Michael wanted to speak on the pre-birth planning soul agreement. What was that, Teresa?
My
What was
computer is going to sleep, and I'm having to
Oh.
unlock it.
Great. I just was wondering what the angelic realm, if they had anything to say. Not, you don't necessarily have to channel, but if you wanted to just get some input on them, that's all I was curious about, was their input and getting a balanced.
Well,
Sorry, you guys.
I'm not getting anything at the moment.
Okay, no worries.
It's easier for me to bring him in and ask questions than it is for me to get things. Are we okay with the echo?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Is that
Go
better?
ahead.
Okay. Let me see if I can get him in. Laurie, when I bring him in, and after he says his greetings or whatever, then can you re-ask the question again?
Absolutely.
To him?
Mhm.
Okay. Blessings to all. I greet you tonight with love and light, as always.
Love and light, Archangel Michael. Thank you for coming in. We had some questions for you this evening, and we are talking about soul agreements, pre-birth planning, and we wanted a little bit of input from the spiritual realm as to how that works.
I'm needing to adjust the energies with this one at this time. Her energies seem very dense, but I am filtering the energy and getting the vibration higher. As far as the pre-birth planning, as you put it, it is all connected to the higher source, the divine plan, and the individual souls have input, as well as the angels that follow them have input as well. As we had discussed before in the angelic realm, there are things that happen simultaneously. So this would be one of those times when it is happening simultaneously, as not when before the birth and before the decision as to where and whom to reincarnate with. Does that make sense? I am having a little bit of problem with the vessel tonight.
I understand. I know that you're of such a high vibration. It is very difficult at times to really lower that vibration into this dense 3D.
Yes, I am having difficulty hiring. This has not happened before. So if you could all send some of your energy to her to get the vibration higher, that might help. I am not sure why this is happening tonight. Maybe the vessel is tired, but if you could send some energy to get the vibration higher, that would be much appreciated. And I will keep going.
Okay.
Did that answer your question? Do I need to elaborate more?
No, that's fine. I'm concerned about Hope and her vessel, so we'll leave it at that. We appreciate your coming in and explaining what you could. Sorry for the low connection there.
Yes, I did want to say that, as always, when I come in, I send blessings to everyone who is watching. And I ask you all to continue to send light and love, to open your hearts to each other, to work on non-judgment, and to accepting everyone who comes in your path.
Beautiful. Be the frequency you want to receive.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Michael. We appreciate your time and energy.
You are
Much love.
welcome. Wow, I don't know what happened. I could feel like my body was just really dense, and it was.
That's what he
I was
said.
having. Yeah, I was
He said
having
he was
a
having
hard
a hard
time.
time connecting.
Yeah, and I haven't had that happen on the show.
He said that was a first. He said that was a first for him with you.
Yeah, I think, and I blessed the apartment. I sprayed. I just may have not gotten the vibration higher enough, but he did speak. So
yeah, he came through. He did. He
Could
basically
be a minor digestive issue.
Could have been those Reese's cupcakes you had.
I knew you were gonna bring that up. I have had a lot of sugar, so it could be that.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah.
That could have been affecting it. So, but you know, at least he was able to say some things.
Definitely, and it's always fascinating to I mean, you have the ability to do it. You might as well why not ask? I mean, if you don't ask, you
Right.
don't get answers. So that's why I like to do that. And I appreciate that you do that, Hope. Thank you so much. And if ever you're not feeling it, just let us know. We'll respect that deeply.
Well,
No problem.
obviously, he let you know I wasn't feeling
Yeah. He's
it.
like, oh, the vessel's not quite. You'll see
Oh,
when you
yours is
rewatch
not.
it. He
Yeah,
was a
she's
little like
Well,
confused and stunned by it, I would say.
yeah, it was
Like
just
he hadn't
yeah,
experienced
and
that.
it very well could be that my body didn't get enough sleep, and then with the sugar or whatever, my vibration's not high enough. So
Claudette says
I
there
apologize for that.
oh no apology necessary. Claudette, this is interesting and I believe you've got something here, Claudette. There are extreme energies coming off the sun right now. It's causing interference for many. Yes, I believe that. So that could be part of it, no doubt about it.
Well, I would like to believe that more than my eating all the sugar. So I'll just take your explanation. That sounds a
Okay.
lot better.
Sounds good to me. Reese's all around.
so can we talk just briefly a little bit more about this pre-planning?
Yes, we can. I have a feeling you're going to do that. Let's do it.
No, I'm asking you if we can touch on that a little bit, because it's been
sure.
interesting preparing for this tonight. It's been interesting hearing different perspectives on it from folks out there, and there's a lot that goes into it. It just blew my freaking mind when I was hearing it described that there's different types and groups of people apparently, or other souls, that we have preferences.
Mhm.
We have preferences, and we group them into preferences like tier levels, like preferred, the occasionally, and the it doesn't matter this time around. You know,
So
the
let's
extra
just say,
characters.
for example, you work with a soul line family, like you want to pick a specific mother to come into because of the attributes that she has and the upbringing and the programming that she received from her parents. And sometimes you can't always get into that body. You can't always connect with that. So you sometimes have to have a plan B or a plan C or D. It does work that way. But also, you've got to make sure that everybody's ready to go all at once at the same time, that you agree that, okay, we're going to come in at this time, we're going to come in the 60s, we're going to experience this and this, but you've got to get everybody on board with that in order to make that all happen. And you typically do work with the souls that want that you have built trust and past lives and all of that. You feel comfortable with their energy. You just know what to expect, and you know that you can switch roles. For example, I could have been I was my father in the previous lifetime, and he was my father in this lifetime, so we switched roles on that. So I mean that
And kind of when you were
it's
first
true.
explaining it to me,
Hmm.
it reminded me of. I told you, it reminded me of seeing Phelps sitting there on Mission Impossible,
Yeah.
and he's got the dossier in front of him of all the characters, and he's like picking people that he wants to do this particular experience with.
Hmm.
That he wants to go through this particular mission, and he pulls the profiles out and slams. And then the ones that are secondary, he puts them in that pile. And the ones he doesn't care about, he just pitches it across the table.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like all that thought processing. It's just hard to believe that our higher selves are sitting there with us and saying, "Hey, you've got to do some homework. What worked for you didn't work for you in your last lifetime. What do you want to work on?
Or I'm not sure I want to come into this lifetime with you and work on that because I need a little bit more of this before I do that kind of a thing."
Yeah.
So yeah, I believe that.
It's like we're so used to the corporate world in this modern era that you can see all the project team meetings taking place.
Yeah.
Group A had this meeting, and and you're all coming together. It's like what the hell? There's this.
You might really resonate with team
astral.
B over there, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure if it looks like I might have to.
Yeah.
Almost like when you went to high school and you had to pick
Yeah.
a class, and if the class was full, you had to find a different class to go to. I mean, that's
Yeah.
really kind of what it feels like. So,
Yeah, you change them up, and you can swap them out, and you go, okay, well, you're not available this time. Chucky, darn, I really wanted you on my team.
yeah,
Okay, so you go on to
yeah.
the next person who's
Mhm.
available. So
Yep,
there's all this
very
support.
true.
It's just really hard to put your head around that
Mhm.
would be. It seems like such a human thing to do.
Yeah.
It's just really hard from the background that I come from, the traditions
Mhm.
that I come from, to
Mhm.
wrap my head around the fact that this is something that could be going on at an astral level.
Yeah.
It's just really hard for me to
Well,
grasp
it
because it
really
seems so
isn't.
human.
From what I
You know?
understand, it really isn't that complicated. It's very simple, as a matter of fact, but humans like to complicate things, and that's what I was told. So, you guys make it
Mhm.
harder on yourselves than you really need it to be, is what I've been told. But I've spent countless hours connecting with my guardian angel and my team and asking all of these questions and getting answers to it. And really, what they tell me is, if this resonates with you, then there's truth in it. If it doesn't resonate with you, then take what does and leave the rest behind and just keep moving forward. But find your own way in all of this and make your own decisions. And I am simply offering a different
Yeah,
understanding of what I've learned, and take it for
yeah.
what it's worth.
Well,
Yeah.
look at it
But
this
I
way.
like this concept that they're saying that
Mhm.
if people are not energetically aligned with your priorities,
Mhm.
you have to care. Your guides will come in and help
Mhm.
you find and locate. They have a very integral
Mhm.
role
Yeah, like
during
people
this
you work
pre-planning
with or through
process.
a career, the people that you choose to work with. It's the same type of thing that works with that
Yeah,
as well. You come in for a short time, you work with this person, you spend a
yeah,
lot of time, think about it. You're spending 40 hours plus a week at a job dealing with different people. You think those are just happenstance
yeah.
people that are in your lives? To me, that's really not. It is a soul connection, and it's but Sophia's shaking her head no.
Well,
Wait a
well,
minute.
Well,
Dalibor was. I accidentally chopped
Yeah, but hang
Dalibor
on a
off.
Oh,
second.
So,
Hold on.
okay.
I'm sorry. Sophia, please elaborate on that because that's important. I really am respectful of
I'm
your
actually I'm agreeing with you, but
okay.
I try to keep my professional work life and this life separate, and it's futile. But there's a couple people that have come to mind that in my full-time hustle that
Gotcha.
have been very key to me
Yep. Hmm.
getting to the level that I'm
And it's
at. And
not
yeah,
always pleasant, is it? It's
well,
not always a pleasant experience.
well, what I've experienced with Team Capricorn is
Hmm.
definitely pleasant, but
Hmm.
it's just I had somebody send me a picture from 8.5 years ago, and like right before the show started. So I'm very great. I'm in a state of gratefulness right now.
Yeah.
So it just blows my mind how spirit can bring people into your lives in
Right.
this metaphysical content, but yet in the very mundane, and
Hmm.
still just I never in a million years would I think I'd be where I'm at right now. And
Yeah.
it's
It's mind blowing.
it
Yeah. It's
is.
a freaking trip, no doubt about it. I'm sorry, Dalibor. You were saying?
oh, yeah, I wanted to point out
Thank you,
that
Sophia.
we all share a couple of very similar characteristics, notably among which would be the fact that we are all adventurers.
Mhm,
That we, all of us, had ancestors who were adventurous to the extent that they would go into the unknown to leave the
mhm,
security of
mhm.
Europe and move to the New World, including my own parents who took me to the United States, where I moved back, notwithstanding, but we all made that decision on some level to come into the new world and meet together there.
Mhm. That's
And
true. It's always a sense of exploration and what's next and moving forward and expanding and growing
and
and
now
leaving behind what didn't work for you.
Yeah, and now we're moving towards each other in the newer world, which is the internet.
Right. Yeah.
So
Interesting. Huh.
Do
Teresa?
you? The other question is, I liked this one that was raised on that channel we were watching.
Hmm.
Does pre-birth planning include any details about the body we will inhabit? So we're sitting there and we're making these choices, and do I decide to come in as a, you know, as a in the avatar that did I pick my avatar, or was that
Hmm.
is that something that just evolved while I was here? Is it part of my
I think
personality
you do
profile?
have some input on it. I think you do, because if you're following a bloodline, you're going to have a better understanding of what to expect through that bloodline. But if you're a walk-in like yourself, you're
Uh
more
huh.
interested in being able to be here and not so much about what body you're going to be given. You're like, is
Can
that
you
available? Can I jump
can
in
you
there?
zoom in on me for just a second, Lori? Not on
Yeah,
me person.
sure.
Can you zoom in
Yeah,
on my
yeah,
square?
yeah,
Hollywood
there you go.
squares.
Go ahead.
I want to point something out to folks.
Sure, go ahead. Here, let me,
There's there's
there we
an
go.
indigenous person, more
Hmm.
of a Indian
You want to
style. You see
explain
the
to people what all this is? Because I don't think
yes,
people really
I'm getting
understand.
ready to. What you're seeing behind me is a collage of my past lives from different epochs in time and different characters that I participated with
Hmm.
during those incarnations. It's not all of them; it's just a few. And if you take a look at, whoops, this photograph over my shoulder here, you're
Hmm.
seeing somebody from a Hopi tribe. And
Hmm.
you notice how she had her features, her
Hmm.
jawline, her dark hair, her dark complexion.
Hmm.
That's an avatar chosen for that lifetime as a shaman. Now you look
Hmm.
down below, behind my shoulder, down below here, there's
Hmm.
another warrior type, Amazonian type person who also has the features, the angular face, the dark hair, the body frame. And then if you look over here, up on the other side,
Hmm.
is a character from from Greece,
Hmm.
who also, and she is a higher version of myself, and she shares a lot of the same type of characteristics and features. Yet,
Hmm.
there's been times where I have come in as a male or as a druid down here in the corner.
Hmm.
You probably can't see it real well, but she has more red hair, different complexion. So you don't always pick the same avatars every time, but you can see that there's been time and time and again where I've chosen, and now you look at me and I don't have. And my sister actually has more of this avatar than I do now. But the point is that how, to what degree do we make that selection ourselves, or is it just part of our soul's print? And so the human form or the human suit that we choose. I don't know the answers to these. I've gone to my guides, and my
Hmm.
guides have said, "No, you're not a product of no. You choose the experiences, and you might have incarnate into the same DNA family line, which is where
Hmm.
a lot of these, because I can trace these back over
Hmm.
time, how they migrated, or you choose completely different experience in a different family tree, not even your
Hmm.
own.
Right. You're doing it every which way it can be done until it's all done.
yeah,
Till you've done it every way you can. Yeah.
and genetics isn't everything. And proof of that is the fact that I knew two twin brothers where they looked exactly the same, except one had white skin and the other had black skin. I kid you not.
Hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
this.
I know what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Hmm.
So you can
Hmm.
bear a resemblance if you've chosen a genetic line with similarities.
Hmm.
But what they were saying, this one angel was downloading a message saying you're it's a very low priority, because as humans you're always delighting in inhabiting very different forms.
Yeah.
You know you
Yeah.
so you like variety, and as
I want
spirits you do
something
too.
different next time. Yeah.
Yeah,
If I so
yeah.
choose, it's my understanding that you choose where you're going to go. You have, you're a sovereign being, and you make your own choices where you want to be. If you want to be on this planet or another planet, but you do have to get through
Yeah,
your
so
school
I went
first.
into I made a connection with Nathaniel and a couple of the others, and I said, and so I was having a back and forth about it, and I said, so soul swap agreements like mine must be overly complicated because you're agreeing to adopt what's left from another person's soul plan and agreement for being here, who said, I can't take it anymore. I want to cancel my agreement. I want to get out of this. I can't handle it. And you've agreed to come in and take over where that soul left off, but then you have your own agendas and your own priorities. And so you're taking on the agreements of two people. You're multitasking your incarnation to step into another soul because I wanted to be here for a specific reason. And so I chose to help this soul out and step in and walk in. So there was a soul swap that occurred, but I have all their memories. I have that soul's memories and that soul's agenda to finish up, because you start all this with all the people that you're affected with. So you've got to agree to carry out their agreements that they made with that other soul when they came in here, and then you have your own. So that's where I just went, I can't take it anymore.
I know, it's like, it's overwhelming. Claudette says the soul resembles what you want it to. I believe that. I totally believe that.
In mathematics,
I think you
it's
have
like
more
multiplying.
control over how it's going to be than you think, because there's so much involved in the pre-planning.
What you're describing, Teresa, is exactly like what in mathematics sounds like multiplying two sets of matrices. Do you know how complex that can be?
Well, here's what Nate said, quote, yes, both soul teams are working in the higher realms to hammer out the details of these types of agreements for both souls. It gets complicated when a soul decides to jump timelines to help out another soul while also attempting to achieve their own soul purpose. So you're right. I will tell you that we know from many relationships with the souls that we guide that it takes a very wise and strong soul to set everything in motion and actually complete these experiences successfully. And this is why these types of agreements are quite rare and often surprising to all involved.
Interesting.
That made me feel really good because, you know, you can sit here and think that your life is all upside down and you've been on a roller coaster ride, or you can choose to appreciate that, oh my God.
And take responsibility.
I must be one of these strong souls that can get through this. And I'm like, you
dang
darn right, I'm going to get through this problem I'm having right now.
Dang right.
I mean, when you get these kinds of revelations, they just hit you upside the head and you're like, wow, you know?
Yeah.
It's one of those moments where you're not patting yourself on the back, but you're interacting with enough energy that's bringing that to you, so you can see, hey, it's not a life. It's actually a tricky thing, and I'm navigating it.
Right.
Good
and
for
it
me.
takes a strong soul to come down here. You got to have some cojones to come to the Earth School. You got to really be tough and strong spiritually to endure all this. Yeah, no doubt.
That made me feel very good. That made me feel very good and very positive. And I've been doing great the past several days because of it. It's just really helped open me up. Yeah. So thank you for bringing up this subject to go back into this on a deeper level this time, because it helped me with what I'm going through right now.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm glad it helps. If it like the guides say, if it helps just one person, then it's worth your time and energy. So awesome. Very good. Well, any final thoughts? We're coming to the end of the hour. How about I start with you, Hope? Any final thoughts on the pre-birth planning, soul families?
Just a few thoughts on like the reincarnation and remembering the times that you've had. When I first started this, I was starting to remember a lot of my reincarnations, and I wasn't ready for them. And some of it was very, very disturbing. even though I chose them, some of them were very hard lessons to learn. So when we first come back, I think that you're not supposed to remember everything at once because it's just too
Much.
overwhelming.
Yep.
And
I
so
agree.
then I learned as I
We
was
spoon feed you it.
as I was getting the
Yeah.
information, I learned to ask for it to be, because I was feeling it, seeing it, reliving it, and some of them were very, like I said, hard lessons to learn, very violent, that type of thing.
Mhm.
And when I learned to ask for it to be given to me gently,
Mhm.
and that I didn't have to feel everything, they could just tell me what happened and what lessons I learned, it was much easier. So I kind of learned that the hard way, but I don't know
Well,
if that
the
helps
hard
or not.
way
But
is a good way because you really get the lesson with the hard way. If everything was easy, it would be like knowing the answers to the test, and you don't learn from
I know,
just
but
getting the answer to the
sometimes I
test.
think, what was I thinking?
Exactly,
Yeah,
that was my
sometimes it was
point
like, well, what was
earlier.
I thinking?
Careful what you put on
Why
your
would I
plate.
want to experience that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true, that's true. How about you, Delabore? Any final thoughts?
Well, no, I would say this: no matter what your life situation, no matter how brutal or tragic or whatever your life seems to be, ultimately you have to realize that you agreed to this. You agreed to the circumstances that brought you to this place. However, that
Mhm.
doesn't mean that the future is set in stone. That just means that
Right,
that's what you started out with. You can always
correct.
change the outcome. Like I always
Yes.
say, you can't change the past, but you can change the future.
Mhm. I love that. That's perfect. Beautiful. How about you, Grandpa Brian? Any final thoughts on this?
I do know when you come into this lifetime, you do have contracts to experience certain things that other soul members in your tribe have experienced. I found out a few weeks back, really didn't make the connection right away, but then after I sat and thought about it for about an hour, it all made sense. I had a friend that was 2 years older than me. I was 8, he was 10. He was hit and killed by a car. And this
Hmm.
friend of mine, he was my son 3 lifetimes ago. And
Wow.
we were down in Chile and we were up in the mountains and he actually fell to his death
Mm.
one
Mm.
day. Well,
Mm-hmm.
2 lifetimes ago, uh, I had someone set a trap for me and I fell to my death. The lifetime before this, I was struck and killed by a car. And this lifetime, my friend Tim, he was struck and killed by a car. So I think we're also here to learn, experience things that other soul tribe members have experienced. And
Mm-hmm.
now he's reincarnated. He is my oldest nephew.
Aha.
Isn't that something?
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
Wow.
a great point, GB. That's a really good point. I love
yeah.
that.
So we both, the past, my past 4 lifetimes, we've kind of experienced the same things as a soul tribe member
Wow. Very
or
cool.
as a connection. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
it
Well,
does
Yep.
happen,
Both. Mm-hmm.
there's reasons why things happen to you, and maybe because there's
Yep.
a soul that's part of your collective that has experienced something and they're wanting you to learn that. So this lifetime, you're having to
yeah,
go through that shit that they went through maybe 2 lifetimes ago.
Right. Well
yeah,
said.
yeah.
Well said.
And you know what,
Yeah.
Brian? I got to thinking when we did that little trip in Indiana, and you found out during that trip, I think it was during the trip, that you found out that your dad had a history with Camp Chesterfield.
Yes, that I
Nice.
never knew. Yeah,
Okay, that you never
back in
knew,
the
and he had
50s.
actually been there and attended. So that brought you, and then here you are, all of a sudden on the doorsteps of Camp Chesterfield
Mm-hmm.
through your
Correct.
connection with Sophia. So
Yep.
this is how we know we're drawn, because now your dad could be reincarnated in any one of those people at Camp
Mm-hmm.
Chesterfield.
Correct.
Or within your family line. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sophia, final thoughts for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have delved lightly into my past lives because I stayed in survival mode for so long for the majority of this walk.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a strong proponent of, if your current life is not balanced and grounded, if your life is actively a dumpster fire, why would you go start another one? Because generally what I've found is when you do past life regressions, you either discover strengths and or trauma. But I would say that those experiences, like Grandpa Brian was saying, that's how we recognize each other, as far as soul families, is similar experiences that we've navigated. And since Sacred Scar recognizes Sacred Scar, that's how I see it.
Yeah.
And that that is foundational to have the commonality with other souls, so you can experience and appreciate and amplify what we're doing in this lifetime right now, so we empower each other. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where I'm at with that. And it's like when you
Beautiful.
meet somebody and you know you haven't met them, but they look familiar. I would say that would be a way that I recognize people that are in my soul family or may have not a major role in my soul contract, because I do believe in that. But that person, if I have a feeling, that, wait a minute, I don't believe in coincidence, then I'll tend to spend and get to know that person a little bit better to find out why that recognition happened like that. And when I do pursue it, it's very rewarding, because what you're seeking is seeking you. I think that's Rumi.
Yes. Yeah,
But
it
is. It is, Rumi.
it is.
Yep, you're
Yay,
right.
good Eastern philosophy, not my strong suit.
Yeah.
But just being open and keeping it healthy for yourself, and just experiencing and loving life. That's what I'm doing. And it's I love being part of this group. You guys mean a lot to me.
Ditto.
You mean a lot to
Feelings
us.
mutual. Feelings
Absolutely.
mutual.
Yep. We feel the same.
Yeah.
Yep. Total love. Give you the final thought there for tonight, Teresa.
Final thought. Dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun.
Or your mission.
I wouldn't spend too much time delving into the past.
Yeah.
The focus now in the present is what matters the most.
Yep, I agree.
And being in your present condition. I think what delving into the past does a little bit is it helps open you up to how just incredible the universe is and how things work. It gives you an appreciation and a respect for the beautiful design of it all. So that's one value. And the other is there are times when I don't go looking for it, per se. I'm shown, and I love the way it happens with me. And I know, and not everybody's the same, but I kind of like the way it works with me, because I'll be going through something. It doesn't have to be traumatic, but it's something where I have to make a decision, or something that I'm not sure of, or something I'm feeling insecure about, maybe. Or maybe it's an important financial decision. I don't know, but I'll be given a flash back to how I was dealing with it in another lifetime. And sometimes it was terrible. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to do that again. Or sometimes sometimes it's great, and I'm like, ooh, I can do that. That version of me did that then. Ooh, okay, lesson learned.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go kick some butt this time.
Take names.
So, yeah, take names. Check it out. So it's like that's the value of it to me, and that's from within. That's not from without.
Yeah.
That's going deep within and looking at different versions and higher versions. I call them higher versions because they've already been through. They have the wisdom and the knowledge. They've learned lessons.
It's your history.
So I can meet with myself. Yeah. And
Mhm.
it's not just in this lifetime. It's in situations that I had to go through that I mastered it in that lifetime, and now I can reapply it here. So that's the value. But dwelling on it, spending a lot of time on it, that's not focusing on your now
No,
moment.
but it is understanding the past, your
Yeah.
history, your galactic
Yeah.
personal encyclopedia on your life, your
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah.
Because when you understand yourself in all ways, then you understand yourself better in this way. And you're right, everything comes from within. I completely and totally agree with that.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
answers you need to know about this life are within you. All you got to do is go within.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Definitely.
Well,
So,
another fascinating discussion. I want to thank everybody for being here. Hope, Dalibor, Grandpa Brian, Sophia, Teresa, everyone in chat. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time and
yeah.
energy. And we love sharing these ideas and concepts. So it's a wonderful feeling to know that you guys are out there watching and absorbing and taking what resonates and what doesn't. It's all good. So
Is it
go ahead.
is next week Thanksgiving? We have off next week, yeah? We're
Yep.
taking a break.
Yes,
Andromeda's taking a
yes.
break.
We're
We're taking a break
Thanksgiving.
so everybody can travel and have fun
You
on
have the
Thanksgiving.
Friday after Thanksgiving and just watch for the trailer and
Yeah,
you'll know what the
that's
topic
right.
is, and we'll share that with you. And we hope that you all have a wonderful, safe, and happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Enjoy the grub and the eats, and remember to, especially when you're with family, be the frequency you want to receive, even if they're not giving you or sending you that frequency. Really try to be the best version of you can be.
While I'm eating my turkey TV dinner.
Just say more pie, more pie.
Mhm.
All right. All right, everybody.
All right.
Well, definitely choose love and enjoy your weekend. And thank you again. We greatly appreciate you all. So much love. Peace.
See
Take care,
ya.
everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
Live long
Bye
and prosper.
Yeah.
bye. Good luck.